So today, I stand before you wearing this brand new uniform, and now I have a badge to go with it, with an incredible amount of pride and respect. Pride because it's the same uniform and badge worn by the sheriff deputies that patrolled my neighborhood where I grew up. And yes, I did grow up in East Los Angeles. Because of them, or because of you, when my friends played cops and robbers, I always chose to be the cop.
Hello, I'm Maria Hall Brown, and this is LA Currents. Well, what do you do after retiring from running the second largest police department in LA County? How about running the largest sheriff's department in the United States? I am delighted to be joined today by Sheriff Robert Luna. So nice to have you here.
Thank you for having me.
I state your name.
I, Robert Luna.
What prompted your decision to retire from Long Beach PD, but then take that precious retirement time and run for LA Sheriff?
When I was concluding my career, looking at some of the challenges that I saw from the outside at the Los Angeles County Sheriff's Department, great men and women, but I just felt they had some leadership challenges, and I wanted to step up to the plate. You don't complain about something unless you want to do something about it, and I felt that I could take this department where it needed to go, and that's the next level.
I want to thank the voters of Los Angeles County for electing me as the 34th sheriff and entrusting me with a very clear mandate to bring new leadership and accountability to our Los Angeles County Sheriff's Department.
One of my priorities is to make sure that our employees have the best training available to them as possible. Mm-hmm. Right now, we don't. We're deficient in some of those areas. So I'm going to be working with our Board of Supervisors and identifying all of our training needs. We have to be able to go out and look for opportunities of how other people are training best practices and bring them here to the Sheriff's Department.
I'm going to bring up something that may or may not be something that's fun to talk about or easy to talk about with this whole smash and grab thing. I think people are surprised that there is no punishment for these crimes that seem to actually hurt people, but it's nothing that law enforcement can really do anything about because the law sits in a particular realm.
Well, there needs to be accountability. When you look at criminal justice reform, I understand there needs to be a balance with over-incarceration and things of that nature, which I deal with now as the sheriff.
Sure.
When you're dealing with issues of like zero bail, if you don't commit a serious or violent crime, you may be cited and released, booked and released. That is something our community is going to have to deal with. But at the end of the day, we have to look at the crime rate. We have to look at the perception of fear. And right now, a lot of people don't believe we're safe. But yet our crime stats show that crime is down. So it is our job not to scare people, but to educate people, share information with them. But please remember this, that when we're talking about criminal justice issues and crime, the police are only a percentage of part of the equation. We have the district attorney, we have the city attorney, we have the judges, we have public defenders, we have incarceration both at the county level and at the state level, probation officers, parole officers. I mean, there is a whole pie to some of the challenges that we face.
You, as Sheriff Robert Luna, is there a line in the sand that you will not tolerate something from one of your deputies?
Once in a while, there are situations that come up, and I believe that we have good systems in place that end up holding our employees and our supervisors accountable when things don't go right. Although sitting in my seat for 8 months, part of what I've been doing along or through the Office of Constitutional Policing is making sure that all of our systems, our processes, our policy are not only up to standard, but beyond that standard. I will support our men and women if they are going out there every day and doing a great job, which, by the way, 99% of our employees do on a daily basis.
Sure.
I will support them. But this job is, I will challenge anybody, one of the most difficult jobs that are out there. People are going to make mistakes. I believe we need to support our deputies and police officers when they make mistakes. But if somebody comes out and they are acting or behaving in an unconstitutional manner, they're way out of policy, they're breaking the law. Public trust is so paramount in the job that we do. I cannot accept that, nor should the community. But again, I ask our community members, please support your local sheriff's department, police department. Support us. We have wonderful men and women that come to work every day, put it all on the line physically and mentally, and they do amazing work every day. Once in a while, you've got to check yourself and not be afraid to allow people in to say, hey, can we be doing something better, differently? Because I think if we're not always trying to get better, we're going to fail. We can't be afraid to change. And law enforcement has been in a constant state of change for the last several years. And again, I would challenge that as a profession, we probably look at ourselves as much or more than anybody else. And we're held accountable to a very different standard than most other professions or people as individuals.
You talked about relationships, and I know that you've built relationships over your decades of law enforcement, but now you're in this position, and you're in a leadership position in a very unique environment. LA, there's nowhere like it. And so how is it going with others? I know you've stood with Chief Moore, and how are you doing with all of the other components that actually wrap around the mission of all of these organizations for public safety?
We can't do this job on our own. So when you talk about somebody like Chief Moore, who I have an amazing relationship with, I could pick up the phone and call any chief in LA County because that is about relationships and there's building trust over time, and we help each other out in this county like I don't believe or I haven't seen in other places. So those relationships do matter. That goes for if I need something from state DOJ, calling the Attorney General, Rob Bonta. Or this morning, I spent several hours at the FBI office up in Los Angeles talking about Homeland Security challenges, the ATF, the DEA. It could go on and on. When we need help with an issue to protect our community, it's not about silos, it's not about egos, and that's what I've learned over my career, that it's those relationships, those partnerships, that collaboration that is key to keeping our community safe.
Well, I would be remiss if I didn't actually talk about what you need in terms of recruiting, because there is that opportunity for people to actively get involved in this new visionary sheriff's department, and I imagine that you probably are looking for great candidates that want to be a part of the team.
We are, and I want to start off by saying that I have been blessed. I have spent 37 years doing this job, and although it is very difficult at times, it is one of the most rewarding careers anybody could ever have.
Okay.
It's a family, greatest job in the world. We are a little short-handed right now. Our employees are working their tails off, but I invite you to visit lasd.org/careers. Come and serve the community. Come and make a difference. We're waiting for you.
Well, thank you so much, and promise me you'll come back.
Absolutely.
All right, I really appreciate it. Thank you. And that's a wrap on this LA Currents.